There's a quote that says, when life hands you lemons, order the lobster tail. Fancy and witty. Hi, I am Chef Reagan, and welcome to my channel. Today we have something really special for you. We're making my lobster rolls and home fries. During the spring and summer months, I am all things seafood, and you are in for a treat today. So let's get started. I've already started boiling my water. Now, in this particular recipe, I like to use about 6 lobster tails. It depends on if you've gotten some that are pretty large. Some of the stores carry the big, large ones. I don't really care for those, not for my meat. I like when they're smaller, I feel like the meat is a little bit more tender. So I'm gonna drop them in, and how you know that they're ready is when they ball up, turn bright red, and rise to the surface. Only a few minutes. Okay, so these are ready. We'll let them cool a bit so that we can handle them and remove the meat from the shell. Chop it up, add a little garlic butter, parsley, a little Creole seasoning, and we are good to go. Okay, now I have allowed the lobster tails to cool. We can remove the meat and the shells and move on to our next steps. Now, when you are removing the meat, I would suggest having kitchen shears. You can always go down the back of them with a knife, but that's kind of dangerous, and if you don't feel comfortable, I would prefer that you have kitchen shears. These little buddies are always in a knife kit, and people never use them. I've seen kindergartners cutting paper with them, but they're actually for deboning and things like this. Heavy duty, so just go up the back and just cut. Now, this takes a little longer for me. I like to hit it, but I don't want to teach you any bad habits or habits that could send you to the minor med. So just pop it open, crack it open, and pull the meat like this. Don't leave any behind. Okay, we've gotten the shells off of our meat. Oh, and it's succulent. So I'm gonna give it a rough chop. If you find yourself with a whole lobster, you do the same thing, crack the claws, have claw meat, is perfectly fine. Now we're just gonna do rough chop, remember that. We don't want really, really small pieces. We want big bites. So I'm gonna drop this in my bowl. Now I use unsalted butter. I'm gonna add powdered garlic powder instead of minced garlic. I don't want the crunch of the minced garlic, so that is the reason why I like to use a granulated. I'm gonna drizzle just a little bit. I'm gonna save part of this for my brioche buns, and I'm gonna put some of it in here. Just a little bit. So use a whole stick, but you're gonna use half for buttering your bread and the other half for your actual meat. A teaspoon of your favorite Creole seasoning. You can add as much as you like or as little as you like. I don't really like a spicy, but I do want a little kick. A little mayo. Toss it around in your mayo. Now we're gonna add a little parsley and fresh lemon juice. I'm doing this to catch the seeds. We don't want our lobster to be crunchy. And just a little bit of parsley. Get it tossed. And this can be made ahead a few hours, so we're gonna let this sit while we start on our home fries. I'm gonna take the skin off our potatoes. I've already rinsed them and got enough cleaned all up. You may think, Reagan, why not just get a bag of all-righter French fries? No, I like homemade stuff. And sometimes you just have potatoes sitting around the house and you're not gonna make any mashed potatoes or any type of soup. So instead of spending that money, you have French fries right in your home. I'm gonna rinse these again. We'll slice them and dice them and get our oil hot. Okay, I am patting dry the potatoes. We want to get as much moisture as we possibly can. This helps to make sure that your fries are crispy. Okay, before I drop anything into my frying grease, I want to make sure that there's some movement in my hot oil. I always test either with a piece of bread, a little bit of flour, but I think we're pretty good here. Don't overcrowd it. When I see we're doing a little bit too much, I'll turn the heat down, and then as I'm adding things into it, I can easily adjust the temperature. So always be careful and be mindful of your oil. You can tell when it's getting too hot. And the best thing to do is start high, reduce your heat, and cook in small batches. I always tell people to preheat your oven till about 200. That way, if you're doing in batches, everything is still gonna stay hot. We'll put the first batch in, let it stay warm. Make sure you line a pan. I usually use a rack as well as a paper towel to try and get as much oil off of my fries as possible. And a single layer of fries would be great, because if you stack them, the oil from the top will just drain to your other fries. So your ones on the top will be crispy and the ones on the bottom will be soggy. But French fries are French fries, honey. We're gonna eat them anyway. Now I'm taking my garlic butter and I'm going to butter the inside and outside. And these are brioche hot dog buns. They have the rolls, you can use those, but I like to have the hot dog buns. They have the slit at the top. They're the perfect little pocket for your lobster rolls. They're sturdy, and this is the best bread ever. So I do the inside and outside, and then I stuff them. And then I put them in the oven to bake them on broil. Just about a few minutes, okay? Not too long. You wanna warm the lobster meat and also toast the bun all at the same time. Before I put these back in the oven, I'm gonna drizzle them with more butter, because you can't have too much butter with the lobster roll. We'll toast these for just a few minutes on broil. Do not walk away. You do not want to burn them up, but you need to toast them just like this. It's the perfect way to do it. Top rack. Count to 5. Check. Count to 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, so good. Super succulent, buttery, delicious. Bon appetit. Let's eat.